So, yesterday I was at this bookstall, right? Someone asked me about school, just a simple question, but I completely froze. I couldn't remember the words. My mind just went blank.
Oh no, that sounds stressful. You know what? I did something similar last month. I called my classmate a school friend instead of just saying classmate. Everyone looked so confused. I felt like my brain stopped working.
Exactly. It's so weird. Talking about school feels super easy in my own language, but in English, it suddenly becomes this huge challenge. I don't understand why.
I think it's because school touches everything in your life. Your daily routine, your friendships, your stress, even your future goals. When you can't talk about it naturally, you feel stuck in conversations, like you're missing a big piece of the puzzle.
Yes, and people always ask about school when they meet you, especially if you look young or mention that you're studying. It comes up all the time. So why does something so basic feel so complicated?
Good question. Maybe we should walk through it together today, piece by piece, the way real people actually talk, not like a textbook, just like us.
Yes, I love that idea. I really want to feel ready next time someone asks me. I don't want to freeze again.
You won't. By the end of our conversation today, talking about school will feel as normal as talking about the weather, I promise.
And honestly, even small moments become easier when you know this stuff, like explaining why you're tired or what you did last night. Your whole school world suddenly makes sense in English.
Exactly. So let's start. Ready?
Ready.
Maybe it's because school vocabulary feels disconnected from real feelings, like we memorize words but we don't connect them to our actual lives. Does that make sense?
It does. Like when I try to explain why I dislike a subject, I end up using boring words like difficult or hard, but that's not how I actually feel. I want to describe the real frustration, the tiredness, the confusion.
Yes, that's exactly my issue. I want to sound like myself, not like a textbook. I want to say things the way I would say them to you right now.
And that's what makes today's conversation useful. We'll figure out how to talk about school the way two friends actually would. No scripts, no formality, just real conversation.
I'm curious about one thing, though. How do you talk about school without making it sound like complaining? Because sometimes I feel like I'm just listing problems.
That's part of the challenge. Maybe we'll figure it out together as we go. It's all about balance, I think.
Okay, I'm ready to dive in. Let's do this. So, what's the first thing people usually want to know about school? Like, what question comes up the most?
Most people ask what you're studying or what grade you're in. Those are the big ones. It's almost always the opening question.
Right, and sometimes I forget whether to say I study biology or I am a biology student. They both sound correct, but are they different?
They both work, but they have slightly different feelings. I study biology sounds more active, like something you do every day. I am a biology student sounds more like your identity, like it defines who you are right now.
Okay, let me try. I study biology. Yeah, I like that. It feels more grounded, like I'm talking about my life, not just a label.
Exactly. Another common question is where you go to school. People always ask that, especially when they're making small talk.
I used to say I go to school in the city centre, but now I realise I could say I attend a school near the river if I want to be more specific. Does attend sound too formal, though?
A little bit, yeah. Save attend for when you're writing or speaking in a more formal setting. But honestly, both are fine.
Okay, got it. What happens when someone asks about your daily routine? Like, how much detail do you give?
That's where it gets interesting. You can share as much or as little as you want. For example, someone might say, I usually have classes in the morning and then study at the library in the afternoon. Simple, clear, easy to follow.
Let me try. I wake up early, grab breakfast, and then head to my first class around 8. Does that sound natural?
Yes, that sounds really natural and clear. You're painting a little picture of your morning. Short pause. People can imagine it.
I sometimes want to talk about specific days, like Mondays or Fridays, but I don't know how to start. It feels awkward.
You can use phrases like, on Mondays I have math and history, or Fridays are my favorite because I finish early. Short pause. Starting with the day makes it feel organized. People do this all the time.
That's helpful. Okay, here's a tricky one. How do you talk about teachers without sounding rude or too formal?
Oh, that is tricky. Medium pause. You can say something like, my math teacher is really patient, or my history teacher talks fast, so I have to focus a lot. You're describing the experience without judging them.
I like that. It's honest but respectful. But what if you actually don't like a teacher? How do you say that without being mean?
Good question. Short pause. You could say something like, my chemistry teacher and I don't connect well, or I find my literature teacher's style a bit confusing. It's diplomatic. You're talking about the dynamic, not attacking them.
That's smart. I appreciate having options like that. It feels safer.
So, we've covered the basics, but let me ask you this. How do you talk about classmates?
I guess I just say classmate, right?
You can, but you can also describe people by their role or your relationship. Like, I sit next to a quiet girl who loves drawing, or I work on group projects with 3 other students. It adds personality.
Oh, so classmate isn't the only word. I could also say the people in my class or a guy from my biology class.
Exactly. And if you want to talk about friends you made at school, you can say, I became friends with someone in my English class, or I met my best friend during orientation week. Short pause. It feels warm and personal.
I like that. It's not just facts anymore. You're telling a little story. Okay, next question. How do you describe classes themselves, not just the subjects, but the feeling of them?
Short pause. You could say, my physics class is challenging but interesting, or I enjoy my art class because it's relaxing. You're giving people a sense of the atmosphere, not just the topic.
My economics class moves really fast, so I review notes every evening. Does that work?
Yes, that's vivid. People can picture you reviewing notes at your desk. Short pause. Details like that make the conversation come alive.
How do you talk about homework or assignments without sounding like you're complaining? Because sometimes it does feel like a lot.
It's all about tone. Short pause. You could say, I have a big project due next week, so I'm working on it bit by bit. Or, I had a lot of reading last night, but I finished it before bed. You're acknowledging the workload without being negative.
Let me try. I wake up early, grab breakfast, and then head to my first class around 8. Does that sound natural?
Yes, that sounds really natural and clear. You're painting a little picture of your morning. People can imagine it.
I sometimes want to talk about specific days, like Mondays or Fridays, but I don't know how to start. It feels awkward.
You can use phrases like, on Mondays I have math and history, or Fridays are my favorite because I finish early. Starting with the day makes it feel organized. People do this all the time.
That's helpful. Okay, here's a tricky one. How do you talk about teachers without sounding rude or too formal?
Oh, that is tricky. You can say something like, my math teacher is really patient, or my history teacher talks fast, so I have to focus a lot. You're describing the experience without judging them.
I like that. It's honest but respectful. But what if you actually don't like a teacher? How do you say that without being mean?
Good question. You could say something like, my chemistry teacher and I don't connect well, or I find my literature teacher's style a bit confusing. It's diplomatic. You're talking about the dynamic, not attacking them.
That's smart. I appreciate having options like that. It feels safer.
So we've covered the basics, but let me ask you this. How do you talk about classmates?
I guess I just say classmate, right?
You can, but you can also describe people by their role or your relationship, like, I sit next to a quiet girl who loves drawing, or I work on group projects with 3 other students. It adds personality.
Oh, so classmate isn't the only word. I could also say the people in my class or a guy from my biology class.
Exactly. And if you want to talk about friends you made at school, you can say, I became friends with someone in my English class, or I met my best friend during orientation week. It feels warm and personal.
I like that. It's not just facts anymore. You're telling a little story. Okay, next question. How do you describe classes themselves? Not just the subjects, but the feeling of them.
You could say, my physics class is challenging but interesting, or I enjoy my art class because it's relaxing. You're giving people a sense of the atmosphere, not just the topic.
My economics class moves really fast, so I review notes every evening. Does that work?
Yes, that's vivid. People can picture you reviewing notes at your desk. Details like that make the conversation come alive.
How do you talk about homework or assignments without sounding like you're complaining? Because sometimes it does feel like a lot.
It's all about tone. You could say, I have a big project due next week, so I'm working on it bit by bit. Or, I had a lot of reading last night, but I finished it before bed. You're acknowledging the workload without being negative.
That sounds balanced. But what if you actually are stressed? Is it okay to say that?
Honesty is fine. You can say, I'm a bit stressed about my upcoming exam, or I stayed up late finishing an essay, so I'm tired today. It's real. People appreciate realness.
Okay, good. I want to sound human, not like a robot. What about extracurriculars? How do you talk about activities outside of class?
You can say, I'm part of the debate club, or I play on the school's soccer team. Just state what you do.
I volunteer at the library on Thursdays. That works, right?
Perfect. And you can also talk about why you joined, like, I joined the drama club because I wanted to build confidence, or I started tutoring younger students because I enjoy helping others. It adds depth.
I like that. It's not just what you do, it's why you do it. Here's another tricky one. How do you talk about grades or performance without bragging or sounding insecure?
Oh, yeah, that's delicate. Keep it simple. I did well on my last test, or I'm working on improving my writing skills. You're being honest without over-explaining.
I got a lower grade than I expected, but I learned from my mistakes. Does that sound okay?
That's great. It shows growth. You're not dwelling on it, but you're not hiding it either. It's balanced.
Medium pause. Last thing, how do you talk about future plans related to school?
You can say, I'm planning to take advanced science courses next year, or I hope to study abroad after I graduate. Just talk about what you're thinking.
I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I'm exploring different interests. Is uncertainty okay to express?
Of course, not everyone has their whole life figured out. It's normal. People respect honesty.
One more thing. How do you end a conversation about school smoothly, like without it feeling abrupt?
You can wrap up with something like, anyway, that's what's been keeping me busy lately, or school's going well overall. It signals you're done talking about it without being rude.
That feels like a natural close. I like it.
So now we have a full toolkit. You can talk about what you study, where you go, your routine, your teachers, your classmates, your feelings, your future, everything.
Yes, this is exactly what I needed. You know what? Let's quickly review some key words that came up, just to make sure everything sticks in our minds.
Good idea. I'll go first. Let's start with attend. It means to go to regularly, like attending school or attending a meeting. For example, I attend evening classes twice a week.
Nice. Okay, I'll pick routine. That means the regular activities you do every day. Like, my morning routine includes coffee and a short walk. Simple, right?
Very simple. Next one is subject. That's a specific area of study, like math, history, or art. I could say, my favorite subject is biology.
Got it. How about patient? That describes someone who stays calm and doesn't get frustrated easily. My piano teacher is very patient with beginners. I wish I had more teachers like that.
Me too. Okay, here's connect. It means to form a relationship or bond with someone. For example, I connect well with people who share my interests.
That's a good one. Let me do challenging. It means something that requires effort but can be rewarding. Like, learning a new language is challenging but exciting. That's actually how I feel about English sometimes.
I feel the same way. All right, next is assignment. That's a task given by a teacher that you need to complete. My example is, I have a writing assignment due on Friday.
Okay, I'll go with review. That means to look over material again to remember it better. I review my notes before every exam. I do this all the time.
Same here. How about stressed? That's the feeling of being worried or under pressure. I could say, I feel stressed when I have too many deadlines at once.
Ah, yeah, I know that feeling well. Let me pick extracurricular. It refers to activities outside of regular classes. I participate in extracurricular activities like chess club. It's a long word, but it's useful.
It is. Okay, here's volunteer. That means to offer your time and help without being paid. For example, I volunteer at the community center on weekends.
That's nice. I'll do improve. It means to get better at something over time. I want to improve my public speaking skills. That's one of my goals, actually.
Good goal. Next is graduate. That means to complete a course of study and receive a diploma or degree. My example is, I will graduate next spring.
Almost there. Last one is explore. It means to investigate or try new things to learn more. I'm exploring different career options right now. I feel like I'm always exploring something.
That's a good thing. So those 14 words cover a lot of ground, from daily routines to future plans.
Yeah, and seeing them in real sentences makes them easier to remember. You're not just memorizing definitions, you're actually imagining yourself using them.
Exactly. Words make more sense when you connect them to your own life. That's the whole point.
I feel like I could actually use these in a real conversation now. Not just recognize them, but really use them.
That's the goal. And the more you use them, the more natural they'll feel. It's like building a habit.
We've covered a lot today. My brain feels full in a good way.
Same. I feel like I have a much clearer sense of how to approach school conversations now. Like I actually know what to say instead of just freezing up.
Let me recap everything we talked about. We covered introducing what you study and where you go to school. We talked about describing your daily routine and schedule. We discussed how to share thoughts about teachers and classmates, how to talk about the feel of your classes and the work you're doing.
And we talked about mentioning extracurricular activities and future plans. Plus, how to wrap up conversations naturally without it feeling awkward or abrupt.
Right. And we also looked at useful vocabulary and practiced putting it into real-life contexts, not just definitions, but actual examples you could say out loud.
The best part is that none of it has to sound formal or stiff. You made it feel natural, like we were just talking, not studying.
That's because the key is treating school talk like any other conversation. You're just sharing bits of your day, your thoughts, your experiences, nothing fancy.
Every time you describe a class, a project, a challenge, or even a small success, you're building fluency without even realizing it. It's sneaky in a good way.
Exactly. And I bet you're already thinking of moments when you could have used these phrases.
Oh, absolutely. Like yesterday at the bookstore when I froze, or last week when I met someone at the park and they asked what I'd been up to. I could have just said, I've been busy with school. I have a big project coming up.
See, you're already doing it. And remember, it's not about perfection.
Right. Even if I stumble or forget a word, I can describe it another way. Or just keep it simple. There's always a way around it.
The more you talk about your actual life, the more natural English becomes, because it's not separate from who you are. It's part of how you share yourself with others.
I feel ready to have these conversations now, whether someone asks about my day, my studies, my plans, or just what's been on my mind lately. I feel prepared.
That readiness is everything. Confidence comes from knowing you have the words when you need them.
I'm genuinely excited to try this out in the real world. Like, I want someone to ask me about school now.
Me too. Let's go find some conversations.
Okay, we're curious about something. We want to hear from you.
Yes, so here's our question. What's one thing about your school life that you find easy to talk about, and one thing that still feels tricky?
Maybe you love describing your favorite subject, or maybe you struggle when someone asks about your grades or your teachers. Everyone's experience is different.
Exactly. And we genuinely want to know what feels natural for you and what doesn't. Your answers help us understand what to focus on next.
So share in the comments below. It could be one sentence or a whole story. We read all of them.
And reading these reflections help us create better conversations in the future. We're building this together, really.
If today's conversation was helpful, hitting the like button and subscribing means we'll keep making more content like this. It's a small action, but it makes a big difference for us.
We'll be back soon with another topic. Until then, keep talking, keep sharing, and keep trusting your voice.
See you next time.
Take care.